And we are live.
Super live.
All right, Chris, how are you?
I'm well.
Episode 65.
I know. Hey, are my beer still in the cooler from the other day?
Anyway.
Those motherfuckers. I bring them to drink and...
Well, that's because you actually are making an appearance to record because you're not training today.
I'm not training today, unfortunately.
So I applaud you for coming in and
dedication.
And recording the dedication to the audience. So
to
first,
our audience,
as we always say,
we thank you.
Shout out to our sponsors, Crown Rash Guards. We just did.
Let's not give ourselves too much sponsor.
Yeah. Why?
Our sponsor, the Crown Rash Guards.
Crown Rash Guards. Check them out. www.crownrashguards.com. Use our promo code BREWS to save 20% off your next order.
So that's Brews, BREWS, not the way Noah just pronounced it, BAREWZ.
Whatever. I'm putting on a little slang.
You're just ready for vacation, aren't you?
Yeah. So they are on social media at Crown Rash Guards, on Instagram, on Facebook. You're going to have seen it by now if you're on our social media. We actually did an unboxing video today, right before we started recording this podcast.
I'm so excited to try on I'll wear it tomorrow.
Yours look really cool. With the rank
purple's a great color, man.
Yeah, the purple and black
real
look
sharp,
badass.
dude.
And I actually compared because I ordered the exact same rash guard.
Is this a spoiler alert? Are you allowed to do that?
Well, this is actually going to come out later.
Oh, okay. So
because that thing we just posted, so
that's true.
Live.
That's true.
So I actually compared
old manning. Oh my god,
the rash guard that I've been wearing for the past 2 months with the brand new one
that he has worn practically every day.
Yeah, to see is there any difference. And
I'm the dog whisperer, dog.
So right now Chris has got one of the tribe dogs, Leo. Check them out, guys. They are our unofficial sponsor at tribe_dogs, and you will see the cute
Crown Rash Guards is tribe dog approved as well.
Exactly. Because the dogs love when we wear our Crown Rash Guards. Look at this. Leo is setting up, and we've established that Leo is an excellent judge of character.
Why? Because he left me. You son of a bitch.
Oh, he's sneezing. Hello, Leo. Now we want video, if only. So guys, check out our sponsor, Crown Rash Guards, and again, use our promo code BREWS for 20% off. So. While Leo is sniffing me, you want to say anything, Leo?
So if you hear any random, Noah doesn't have some sort of nervous tick. It's actually Leo.
Yeah. So you told me to say this on the air, and that is I did a Muay Thai class last week.
If I remember correctly, so you had said I did my first. Mm-hmm. I thought you had done one.
Nope.
Like
never.
8 months ago or something.
No. I've never done a Muay Thai class. First time.
How did it feel? Wait, did you hang on? First off, did you get the coach's special permission to do the intermediate advanced class, or
no? So the way it worked out is I had to teach at 7, and it just so happened that Paul and Victor were doing Muay Thai fundamentals at 6.
Move your dog butt off of this cord. There you go. Hey, I love dogs. I can't pet him because the moment I rub my eyes or nose, I'm gonna fucking break out and it'll be terrible.
Oh, okay. Well, then just keep your cool. Covered pants on him. You're good.
I have always had to have like long-haired dogs. What is it, like Malteses? And
oh, really?
I had a Peekapoo as a child.
Really?
Yeah, because like
even though you had allergies.
Yeah, because they don't shed and the dander and whatnot. So.
Yeah, I know he's loving you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
he doesn't fear my Vietnamese ethnicity at all. So.
Oh my god. Anyway, so
I'm allowed to.
So anyway, Paul and Victor were going to be running fundamentals and fundamental Muay Thai.
Muay Thai, okay.
And I've been ragged on ever since I started. You ain't
a man.
I allegedly.
You don't want to stand up and fight.
I mean, I did. I told Carl.
Why would
AJ,
you want to lay between another man's legs? They give you all that?
No, I didn't get that one.
Okay.
I was just like, if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you got to do Muay Thai. And I said, well, when I get my blue belt, let me get my blue belt and I'll do Muay Thai.
You've been ducking it for like a year and a half?
Oh, yeah.
And my God.
So I I was like, well, do you have gloves? And Victor's like, oh yeah. So it was fun watching everyone's expression, seeing me with shin guards and and gloves on that side of the mat, because everyone walked in and they did a double take. They're like, wait a minute. So I got to do that fundamentals class, and it was good, man. It was.
Your tennis actually probably lends itself well to that.
I don't know. It was just eye-opening, My stance was off. I had a much more staggered stance than what you're supposed to have, and
staggered meaning
I was
like
leading more like a wrestler stance. Like my lead leg was much more forward.
Yeah,
and
can't check a kick like that. Ask Conor McGregor.
Exactly. So it was just eye-opening to just feel like, what it's like to. To punch and punch clean and the angles and defending. It was overwhelming. Just like,
was it really?
Yeah, it was overwhelming.
I'm surprised because like you're athletically inclined, so I would have pictured, and especially you come from a sportive base, athletic base, where you start off in that sort of athletic stance of like a tennis stance where you have to be light on your feet, you can't be on your heels, And you shuffle in tennis too, right? Like you don't, or do you run? I actually don't know anything about tennis.
I mean, I'm sure there might be some parallels, but when you're shown, this is how you throw a cross for the first time. This is how you throw a hook for the first time. This is how you're supposed to stand. This
Did
is how
it
you're supposed
feel
to check.
unnatural?
It didn't feel unnatural. It felt a little unfamiliar. Like I just had to, I think, and Victor told me that for a fundamentals class of Muay Thai, Paul covered more things that he normally does.
He wanted to break you in, right?
I think it was just the size of the class. Like a lot of people were in that class, and he opened by saying, "Hey, this is foundations or fundamentals rather. So this is going to be a boring class for a lot of you guys." But then I think he still made it more exciting.
Yeah,
because we were throwing teeps at the end and catching teeps and
catching teeps in a fundamentals class.
Yeah, and I was redirecting. Teeps.
Okay, all right.
And then throwing a hook. A lead hook. So I'm just, for me, if I could just work on, 2 punches and a kick and my stance, that probably would have been great in terms of what I could work on. Because inevitably I'd think about doing one and I'd forget about the other, and I'd revert to my body was trying to do by default.
Did you try to pull guard or something?
No, but just
pull half.
Just how I was throwing my kick.
And
how I was throwing everything. Like there were things I wanted to work on with each one, and then when you have 3 things at once, when you're doing a 3-hit combo, then it's kind of like remember.
The hardest thing you'll probably find is moving the corresponding foot with the corresponding hand, and stepping with each punch is probably the hardest thing that you'll find to do. I
mean, I'm hoping to,
are you gonna do more?
Take it casually, and I mean, I asked Victor for recommendations for gloves and shin guards, so when I have time, I might be able to do it. And he's right. He said you say you can do it, once or twice a week, but then he's like, I can see you're probably going to start thinking about it. Sure enough, every time I see him, I'm showing him my stance and showing him where my hands are and nice. The punch, and then come back to protect and all that stuff. So
cool.
So
MMA in the near future.
If it's MMA, it's just for self-defense purposes, just to tie it all together. I don't have any interest in fighting, but I think it's to be a more complete mark. And just like I said, if I could be a blue belt in stand-up, that would be, I'd be able to. I feel like I'd be comfortable in handling myself in a self-defense situation. Between that and my jiu-jitsu, against most, I'm not going to pick a fight with an MMA fighter.
Yeah, that's I mean, a lot of people do watch the UFCs.
That probably makes it even better, because then they're going to try weird stuff.
They might. I mean, well, I'm glad you tried it, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was hurting my thumb initially when I was throwing my hook.
I heard about that.
I had to ask Paul, how do you not hurt your thumb? No.
Is it because you put it in the wrong fucking finger hole?
Well, that was the thing, dude. It felt like I was like, when I made the fist, I was like, I'm making a fist like this. Like I always, like this is how
Yeah, it's how you should. But you can't, right?
Yeah, so I'm making a fist the way I see a fist, and my thumb is going over my first two fingers.
Yes.
But in this thing, it's like out.
Yeah.
And then when I was throwing a hook,
throw like a corkscrew.
Yeah, I was not. Yeah. I was not pronating.
Oh, you were like.
Yeah, and I was like, ow, and I did it again. I was like, ow. It's like that's not a clean hit.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man, it's my shoulders didn't feel as tired as I thought they'd be from holding my because I've heard that happens a lot. You hold your just from holding your arms up for a whole hour.
I suspect that's because one of two reasons: A, you just have okay shoulders,
or I wasn't,
or you just you didn't have your hands as high.
Maybe that's what it was. I just wasn't holding them up. Maybe it's probably the latter.
It's like it's one of those things, right? That
you're not doing it
inevitably right. Every Muay Thai class, when I've taught, you tell people to keep their hands up, and they say, "Oh, I am keeping them up," and they're not keeping their hands up. Like, however high you think your hands are, increase the height by about 3 inches.
Oh, at least.
Like
at least,
because people think they're like, "Oh, my hands are up," and their hands are not even protecting their chin. Right? They're up. They're not at their waist, but they've just folded their hands up, and so that's generally what happens.
So when you started training, remind us, when did you start with Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu?
I started with Jiu-Jitsu, and then
when did you start doing Muay Thai?
Probably just a couple months into doing Jiu-Jitsu. And
then how was that experience for you early on?
It was interesting. Because
I've heard, for example, like wasn't Steve Wynn doing kickboxing or Muay Thai at that point?
Yeah, Steve.
Because I've heard Steve Wynn is like nasty on his feet.
He's pretty good.
That's Chris's way of saying he's really good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Like he's even told me he's better in Muay Thai than he is Jiu-Jitsu. I was like, really? Because his Jiu-Jitsu's good.
Yeah,
he's a brown belt.
Yeah,
and he should have been a black belt if it wasn't for all the time he's taken off.
Because mind you, I started at Gracie Baja, so like they were doing. It was one of those situations where it was like a staggered like calendar, and I couldn't do like beginners Muay Thai until I got like a blue belt or whatever the case.
They actually taught Muay Thai at Gracie Baja.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was possible. I thought Gracie Baja was Jiu-Jitsu only.
That's a long story. We'll have to talk about that off the air.
Okay.
But so Paul and my original Muay Thai coach Bobby Robert was teaching there, and
who was Paul's instructor?
Yeah,
in Muay Thai.
both of. I mean, everybody's.
I mean, I was telling Victor like I kind of would appreciate one of his classes because he is very much about hitting the fundamentals at the beginning in terms of stance.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what I need to get going. And I know that might be very regimented and might be boring to some, but like I feel like right now, give me like a month of doing that just to really start to hone things in. Anyway, continue your story. I didn't want to stop.
Yeah, I started doing it after either like towards the end of my white belt or after I got moved. Like one of those I was like a higher level white belt, I guess, when I started, so I would be able to do Jiu-Jitsu and then Muay Thai, or I did like Jiu-Jitsu Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and like Tuesday, Thursday, I do kickboxing or whatever the case is. But then for a little bit after I got my blue belt, I kind of, because just after I got my blue belt, I think Paul had left. And so I didn't really have a strong connection with anybody doing Jiu-Jitsu over there. So I'd kind of really transitioned to doing mainly Muay Thai and the occasional Jiu-Jitsu class. So I was focusing a good part of my time. I was at Gracie Baja for 1.5 or 2 years, I think it was. So probably 6 to 8 months of that intensely was doing Jiu-Jitsu, casually Muay Thai, and then the remaining amount of time was intensely kickboxing.
So you actually were taking kickboxing instead of Muay Thai?
What's that?
When you say kickboxing, do you mean that is that synonymous with Muay Thai?
Yeah. I use it.
Okay. Yeah, but you were studying Muay Thai.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, the art of Muay Thai.
Yeah, like
Dutch style.
2-3 hours a day. Me, Alistair, Jared, or just,
Alistair Overeem?
No, Alistair Wilson, my buddy.
Okay.
But we were like Bobby's boys after like they had left. Like we were all taking this pretty seriously. So, yeah, and then Bobby came here, and that's when he we came with him to meet up with Paul again. So, and that was at the Dean University School, and that's when I met Steve Wynn. And I don't think he had even put in a gi at that point yet, too.
And he was just a savage on the feet.
Oh yeah, he was good. I think Jim Andrews was only doing kickboxing at the time too.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a lot chubbier too. I remember that dude. I remember like when I had just like kind of joined up with ATT, and I hopped in on a kickboxing class, and Bobby was teaching at the time, and so we were like the 4 or 5 of us that had come with Bobby were starting to integrate in with the classes. And so Jim has this, as we all know, like a very a reputation for just going a little bit too hard. Like for just, I mean, he's not even trying to like hurt you.
Can I say my story with Jim?
Sure.
So when I was a white belt, like just a few months in, he's like, oh, come on. He's like, I want you to throw a leg kick. Like, I want you to feel a leg kick and throw a leg kick. I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, oh, come on.
Jim Andrews doing
Jim Andrews, come on. So he's like, and he just stands there with his lead leg, and he's just flexing his quad. He's like, come on, kick me. So I just kind of kick him. He's like
a soccer kick, an untrained person.
Yeah, I just kind of kick him in the side. Like I said, I've seen UFC.
Yeah,
I've played Street Fighter. I'm in the general vicinity.
Fierce kick, like
so I just go dink. He's like, oh no, come on, hit me harder. I was like, okay, ding. He's like, yeah, good job. He's like, all right, put your leg out. I was like, okay, and then he went whack.
God.
And dude, I wouldn't say I crumpled down, but I immediately went, oh.
That's the way you get students, by the way.
I felt that shit for a week, bro.
Yeah,
and his shins are hard.
And for people who don't know how to take a leg kick, like it hurts like fuck.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I guess I realized I took it more on the side, the nerve, or whatever.
And how many Muay Thai classes did you do after that?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's a hell of a sales tactic, Jim. That was like, I remember Bobby, when he started teaching over at Longwood, Jason Willis, his kid was actually training here for a little bit. Jason started doing Muay Thai, and for some reason Bobby had in his head that we're going to take shin guards off with like new people and drill with him, and he just wailed the hell on like poor Jason's thigh. He like couldn't go to work for a week. Like that's terrible. Like, and guess who never did Muay Thai again, right? Like,
did he condition? Did you have you guys conditioning your shins?
Yeah, we did shin on shin a little bit.
See, yeah. I saw Jim do that when he taught Muay Thai,
dude.
And I was like, why are these guys dinking themselves so lightly? And then I thought about it, I was like, oh, that's bone on bone. No wonder they're going like...
People don't realize how much like bone on bone hurts. Like,
oh.
They think, oh, what? He should just check that kick, right? When you watch UFC.
Oh, yeah. When I see that...
It sounds so
after
easy.
After he kicked me, I watched these guys take kicks, and I was like, how can they take these kicks?
Dude, it's ridiculous.
And checking the kick that seems painful as hell.
Yeah, and I mean, Alistair and I did a Muay Thai seminar out in Tampa.
And, you attended one. You didn't teach one.
No, yeah, we took one.
Yeah.
And it was taught by Johnson on Fairtex, who was like 301 or I don't know. Just
okay, I don't know that. I don't know names and.
And it basically, I mean, keep in mind his last name is Fairtex, so like that means he's adopted his because they're all like slave fighters. It's like the fucking gladiator days, right?
Is this guy's an actual Thai fighter?
Oh yeah, like
from Thailand,
like just garbage English, right?
Okay.
Just we had to learn just by watching whatever the hell he's doing.
Okay.
But he was saying his nickname was like the Wooden Man because he would just sit there and he just like a fucking tree, and he's like, yeah. And we were talking about like checking kicks, and it's even one of the things that Paul kind of teaches and Bobby taught us is like to kind of like absorb and go with the kick when you're checking. He's like, man, he's like, I've had 300 fights. He's like, at first, you take one and you check, and he's like, he showed like mimicking, like kicking out to the kick to like meet theirs.
Yeah.
And he's like, one's like, oh yeah, and then he's like, they do it again, yeah, and then he's like by 3, he's like, like he's like, and this is a dude who's got like 300 fights, right? So it's like, I mean.
And his shins are probably like
and he's been kicking banana trees,
like dense in adamantium or something.
Vibranium. We don't use that. Actually, I think they're allowed to use adamantium again. Yeah. You notice that? Like vibranium, all in the MCU. They don't talk about adamantium. It's all vibranium.
It's coming.
Yeah, I mean, maybe with WandaVision. But so, yeah. So like, checking kicks fucking hurts, man. Like doesn't matter how tough you are. Don't know how many fights you have. It still fucking hurts. But yeah, so maybe perhaps your next fundamentals class, you'll get in on that.
Do you guys do that? Did you see the movie The Accountant?
I did see that.
Yeah,
so okay. So let's talk about The Accountant.
Truth or is that true or not? Where
like,
they take
you wait. Well, is it true to take an autistic guy?
That was the thing. He also had mental issues. That's why he. I mean, he was autistic. He didn't have mental issue, but he had autism, a form of autism. So to help him focus, he'd put on like thrash metal.
And take a rattan baton.
Wow. And taking what, bamboo or stick?
I think it was a rattan, like a screama stick.
Yeah, and just like rubbing his shin,
just
like
grating his shins.
Is grating the shin? Is that something?
So no, that's very much.
You don't like micro. You don't create little micro things. And
I mean, you can also condition your head to take hits from a shovel by bashing it every day with a shovel. That doesn't fucking mean it's a good idea, right? Like. Right? Like you can also, there are other ways you can, perhaps condition through more maybe micro traumas and just actual sparring and whatnot. No, you just kick a heavy bag a bunch of times. I mean, or hit like, I mean, the people doing coke I mean, like, God, that's like, I can get cauliflower ear also by smacking my ear with a fucking, yeah. Oh yeah. I listen to that soundtrack every day at work, and the guys at work hate it. The original score by Paul Herzog for Kickboxer. Oh yeah.
So I was kind of thinking when it comes to how much denser do you think your shin becomes with conditioning? Here's the reason I say that.
I'm not sure.
I happened to see a video with Brian Shaw. Brian Shaw is
who's Brian Shaw?
He's a strong man. He competes in the world's strongest man, and the guy's like 6'8", 400 pounds, lifts ridiculous amounts of weight and all this stuff. And he did a body scan, and everyone that like the person reading the results was of course like flabbergasted because
really?
The numbers are all over the place in terms of what they're used to. Like you have a normal human being, and then you have a 6'8", 400 pound,
like
strong man,
where an alien.
So it was like his body fat was, I think 18 or 19, which is still considerably
lower.
He's
than
actually
I would think,
in the process of cutting down, so he's actually happy.
Okay.
He had much higher body fat composition when he was older, or when he was heavier. But they said your bone density is through the roof.
Yeah, because he's.
But how we talk about lifting weights helps.
That's load-bearing exercise. Yeah.
Look like he's got superhuman like bone density because of that, and I thought that was kind of cool. So in the same vein, I'm wondering, do these Muay Thai fighters have incredibly dense shins? Do they gain weight because their shins are denser?
I mean,
I'm asking.
It's probably
questions,
marginal, but
I
guess so. I mean, it would. The science would be there, right? Like, because there would be like additional calcification from micro traumas and that sort of thing, wouldn't it? Because it's essentially scar tissue. Like, doesn't a broken bone heal back strong? I mean, this is all just
we
like
need to get
bro science.
We need to get a
Jovan
we need to get a doctor.
Yeah.
So another on the topic of bro science and powerlifting.
But I mean, like you definitely can condition like your knuckles and stuff. Like, isn't that? I've just been watching too much fucking Grappler Baki on Netflix. Just like the iron body styles of training.
I mean, we have calluses. Calluses are thicker skin.
Yeah, it's keratinized skin, right? Like it's, I mean, have you ever seen like a hardcore, like old school Okinawan like karate master? Its fucking knuckles are like.
I have not.
Oh, they're like disgusting. I mean, you talk about like.
So instead of having like jujitsu fingers, they have karate
knuckles. Yeah.
What do they look like? What do karate
They're
knuckles
like
look
huge. Like? They're just like
huge.
these two will be like the size of like your fucking like the end of this mic, right? Or even if you see like Bruce Lee, have you ever seen the towel? There's like that silhouette photo of him because he punches with these three knuckles, which is sort of like an oh my god, just don't step on the phone. he punches with these 3 knuckles. So his 3 are like really, really pronounced, and his like index knuckle is actually a lot smaller. So I think there's just a lot of like just repetitive trauma that's your body's way of protecting itself, right?
Sure.
I mean,
it would be cool to have someone on that actually knows the process.
Yeah. This is all purely like the equivalent of bro science.
Yeah.
But by way of martial arts.
Broadcast in a podcast. And
yeah.
Maybe, so we're already telling you we're not authority figures on this.
Exactly. But so I wouldn't be surprised if there's not denser, we know there's more of it, if anything, as evidenced by just people's knuckles who do.
Isn't it amazing how adaptable the human body is?
Yeah. But like at what cost too, right? Like sure the knuckles themselves and the bones are strengthening, but what about the joints around them? Like
that's a good point. So I again, perusing the internets, I came across this documentary that's a few years old called Born Strong. It's about powerlifters, and it follows I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw bits and pieces of it, but
I think it's on Netflix.
It's actually it probably is, but it's actually on YouTube. You can watch it, the full thing, on YouTube with ads. So it's on that platform if anyone wants to check it out, at least right now. And they do, you know how at the end of a documentary they follow up with the characters, like so-and-so goes on to do this. And
usually it's like one little blurb.
Yeah, well, or they show a blurb with like a little video. So sure enough, they're following, oh gosh, now I can't think of the guy's name. He's like probably one of the most famous powerlifters. There's Brian Shaw, there's Thor, half Thor.
That's the Bjornsson guy.
Yeah, then who's the guy from England?
Eddie Hall.
Eddie Hall, thank you.
So I was going to say Eddie Cummings. That's definitely not the one that was wrong, man.
So Eddie Hall, went on to do...
Is it Eddie Hall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Goes on to do...
He's the guy who won the same year. He and Thor go back and forth, right?
Yeah, but
and they're about to fight each other.
Really? Like
they're about to straight up box each other.
I know there's drama between the two of them.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen them both recently, but they're both like trimming down.
Yes, they are.
And they're gonna have a boxing match.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
So it might be the most amazing boxing match ever, or it's gonna be terrible.
So anyway, they showed Eddie Hall do his 500 kilo deadlift,
which is the
1,100 one that Half Thor recently beat, but he did it in his own gym, so that's why there's controversy because Eddie Hall did it in an auditorium. Like there were tons of people there. They bore witness. They bore witness.
Certified weights and that sort of thing.
And when he did it, the camera work for this documentary was amazing because they just zoomed on his face, and his face as he's doing the pull goes beet red, and you see blood just come pouring out of his nostrils.
You are, yeah, like the amount of blood pressure it does.
And his eyes are just like bloodshot. So you see his head come into frame, moving upward, and as he moves upward, oh, Leo, it's okay, Leo. Leo is Leo's daddy.
Separation anxiety.
Yeah, Leo's daddy left for a second, and now Leo is just like, it's okay, dude.
You better not stand there because that door's going to go flying open.
Eddie Hall's head comes into frame as he's doing the pull, and you see this, like I said, just beet red and then blood gushing out of his nose. And I was just like, what's going on to this human body? Like, it's amazing. I mean,
it's experiencing.
It's amazing he can pull that, but what the strain he's putting on his body.
Yeah.
And I think I saw a quote afterwards. He thought he was going to die potentially. First of all, he was below. You talk about being large. Like he had to be 400 pounds plus.
Right.
Like his body. He was just huge. Again, now he's trimming down.
Yeah.
You see abs now.
Which is weird. It's like. He's like the Juggernaut, right?
Yeah.
He's like giant, but he has abs. It's like, but it just goes to show like the amount of waist thickness just to provide,
bracing.
Right. That's required to be able to perform feats like that, which is why, like Ang Lee, when he did the movie Hulk, the first Hulk, like he's like, he didn't want to make like a bodybuilder looking Hulk. He's like, my wife's like a biologist, and she's like, that just doesn't work. Like you have to be able to support the amount of weights that you said the Hulk can do, or in this case, Eddie Hall. Like their waists are, which is weird. How was it Pujanowski, who was incredibly strong as well and won? He actually had a fairly trim waist, right? Like
as
he
had as close to a bodybuilder physique as you're going to get
right.
for
A strongman. Yeah.
By the way, he went into MMA too.
Yeah. Could you imagine fighting that guy?
I don't want him if he gets me in a schoolboy like if
dude.
He
just
if he gets me in a
like,
headlock. I like he can just like that's where the guy's strength. He can just smash you from squeeze.
Yeah, like
if he wrapped his legs or his arms around my rib cage and squeezed, he probably.
Oh, it would be like the movie Split, right? Like where he lay. Yeah,
he would break my ribs.
Like what's his name? Not Ewan McGregor. The guy who's in Split.
The main actor.
Yeah, probably the best actor in all 3 movies. Yeah. But when he that's the way he the Beast. Mm-hmm. Like killed people. He would just sit there and just like
hug them and smash.
Yeah, and just constrict.
Why am I not thinking of that actor's name? He's Professor X in like.
I keep on saying Ewan McGregor, but that's fucking Obi-Wan. The other British guy, McAvoy.
James McAvoy.
Jim McAvoy. Yeah.
Is he British, or is he like Irish or Scottish?
Oh, am I doing the thing?
Because he's in.
Am I doing the white guy thing? Like, sorry, I'm sorry. I apologize.
They're from that UK area. Whatever.
Yeah, it's
I'm just gonna lump them all together.
Northwest
Wales,
Europe,
England, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland. It's all the same to me.
I'll get with Ryan LaFrance about that. He'll correct me. But yeah, so he said that he felt like he was near death. Or it was like he passed out and they like got his vitals and like, dude, this doesn't die.
I just saw the quote, so I don't know what symptoms he was experiencing. But it got me thinking about like training and because I'm doing power lifts as my main activity, followed by supplemental more hypertrophy work, and it definitely helps. I feel better, but then I look at Josh Hinger because we're doing spider guard, and I'm like, God, my fingers, bro. And Josh Hinger is doing farmer's walks with plates. With plates. He's got an apparatus where he has gi sleeves that you can basically hang plates from.
Yeah.
And he's doing farmer's walks in each hand with cuff grips, holding these like 70 pounds.
Jesus.
And I'm like, so that's why these guys have good finger strength.
Yeah, because they just condition the hell out of it. So, I mean, do you think...
Is that healthy? Like, do you...
but it's at what cost, right? Like, it's probably really good for the performance of that.
Yeah, but are you going to have arthritis when you're 40?
Fuck yeah, you will. Well, I mean, he is 40-something, isn't he?
I think he's in his late 30s.
I think he's the same age as me. See what he's done with his life. But he, I want to see he's about my age. But yeah, like, there's no way. But though, it's like, what would you rather be a black belt, multiple time world champion with fucked up fingers when you're 65, or?
It depends on how fucked up. The question is, how fucked up are those fingers?
I imagine they're going to be pretty fucked up. Like, because he's...
Well, I mean, Kurt Osiander's holding up pretty well.
Yeah, that dude, he's like a mummy, though, right? Like...
If Blanco was brought to life, it's Kurt Osiander.
Is it Blanca, or do you think
he just looks like a Neanderthal?
Oh, like, hell yeah.
Like, you talk about, like, the strong...
The features, like a very pronounced brow.
I would love to roll with that guy. I think he seems like a really cool character.
I bet you his hands would be, like, just, like, sausage fingers, right? Like...
Well, if you look at Alex Harnold, the guy who's featured in Free Solo...
Okay.
He's a world famous rock climber, famous for doing ascents without rope, which is why it's so remarkable.
Yeah.
Right? So he's always doing pull-ups on his fingers and stuff. I actually saw his hands. He's got pickle fingers because he's like...
Pickle fingers?
Yeah, his fingers look like pickles. Okay. And I mean, they look like mutant hands on a normal dude's body.
Because they're probably just calloused to hell. They're
thick and wide and long, and because he'll do techniques like he'll stick his hand in a crack and then make a fist and use that as an anchor when he climbs. That's a technique. Yeah. So his hands are massive.
You're oversimplifying it, but yeah, that's.
So if that guy grabbed me, I'm not getting out. Like if he grabbed my collar.
Oh, dude, that's why I've always thought like rock climbers.
So where's Viet?
Yeah, Viet. Come back. Yeah, we'll tag him. He's going off to fucking Colorado now. So he's
where's he in Colorado? Everyone's going out to
He's
Colorado.
leaving. He's leaving Austin, Texas, and he's going to Colorado. Apparently.
What part of Colorado?
I don't know. I just saw. I briefly
All
scanned the post.
Let us know. Or just come back and replace Chris with a cooler version of Chris.
Man.
The cooler Asian Canadian. What's his thing?
I think it is Crazy Canadian.
Crazy Canadian.
Yeah, he's living like the jiu-jitsu lifestyle, but like just completely like whatever the equivalent of the jiu-jitsu lifestyle is for
rock climbing.
Or just living that lifestyle. I mean, is it necessary for rock climbing or is it for?
So he's a sponsored by Red Bull kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like,
extreme.
Yeah.
He's got wings. Good for him. So,
right on, brother, right on.
But yeah, I mean, did you ever grapple with it? That dude's grips were fucking crazy, man.
When I arrived, he was leaving. So my first Saturday was the goodbye party, and he brought all these.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I was like, man, these guys drink a lot.
You are correct. But yeah, his grips were fucking crazy, dude. Like his gi grips, especially.
That's
like,
what Yeah.
Like I was like, God damn.
Whereas I'm kind of trying to make my game around not being dependent on grips.
Yeah.
Although I've had a realization today. It's all about the grip, not tension in the arm.
How many times I've been telling everybody that?
But we don't get it. We don't get, like, it doesn't go in our, because we want to pull. So we engage our whole body. And now
but your arm, it's just like punching though, right? Like this forms the connection. Your gross motor skill muscles are the ones who do the pulling. Your arm is just a rope. It's just a chain there.
Yeah, and people don't like.
People don't get it, man.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm holding my things with my bicep and forearms flexed instead of just squeezing the fist.
Man. Like,
so when they pull, I just go with it.
I was telling, like, we've been working a lot of sparring guard all these mornings and stuff, and I'm telling, like, I mean, my morning guys like Tristan and Jamal and stuff. And man, like, if you just take 20%, my lips just touched the mic. I apologize. If you just take 20% of the tension out of your forearms and your biceps and stuff, like, you're gonna tire yourself out so much less,
and not have your grip broken.
Exactly,
because when my grip breaks, is when I'm holding.
It's because you're forming a post for them to pull against, right?
Yes,
and that's where, like, Cabrera the other day, when he came on Tuesday, which he didn't on Thursday, that lazy fucker. Hopefully we see tomorrow.
Accountability,
man. He accountability nothing that Thursday.
Boy.
So, but he's like, oh man, he's like, I'm only grappling you in no-gi now, because like your fucking grips, man. I'm like, I don't have that strong of grips. I'm just very precise with how I do it, and I connect here, but you can whip my arm all around you want, and it's like it'll stay connected to you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, you know, where I learned that from.
Oh, really, Matt Thornton?
Yeah, bud. It's a Matt Thornton thing.
And he got from Hickson.
Hickson. And I mean the contractor shoulder blades thing.
Oh, that
you even appreciate that. It's a Matt Thornton thing,
I've seen that.
Devil's in
But he didn't invent
invisible jiu-jitsu.
He didn't invent that.
I mean, he didn't invent it, but he's good at he conveys it a lot.
He conveys
in the way in the details that he teaches.
I mean, Paul's like kind of admitted that, like, he's evolved his knowledge when it's come to spider and lasso, and he used to teach things that he said I don't think are correct anymore.
Really?
You know, in terms of doing a deep lasso on a standing opponent, he's like, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, because you're gonna get fucking picked up.
Exactly. You know, you have to do shallow lasso.
You're gonna get stepped on. Yeah.
So he's evolved what a maintenance stance should be, or the posture should be. So
that's an interesting thing, that people evolve their views on jiu-jitsu a lot like that. How much do you think of that? I mean, it's obviously through experimentation that he's probably come to these conclusions. It's also like
the being like people pressure testing it in competition and seeing, you know,
like
what the meows are doing, and that's what they're doing. They're not doing this other thing,
right? And that's just having the convenience of footage probably helps with that, right? Because he says himself, like, I watch a lot of competition footage, and he's not like a book learner, so.
Why is your phone ringing?
I don't know. It's either I'm getting it. Okay, so one would think, right? It's my Ring doorbell, but
this is your doorbell thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Looks like they're going for a walk. But so speaking of Ring doorbells, let's say I order some low carb, high protein cereal for my kid from like same day delivery.
How can you get low carb cereal? Those two things don't seem to go hand in hand.
So it's made out of like whey protein mixed with some like cassava. Either way, it's like the dude he loves Fruit Loops for breakfast. I'm like, I gotta find this dude a better solution to eat than
Fruit
fucking.
Loops. I can't stand Fruit Loops.
The artificial smell like makes me gag. But this fucking kid.
I know a lot of people love Fruit Loops. I've never been able to eat Fruit
all
Loops.
them. All those like fucking.
Someone's in front of your. So wait a minute. Do they have to hit a button or anytime there's movement? Anytime there's a motion, it's like a motion sensor.
Yeah, it's like I have to set up these certain like zones of motion, and evidently somebody's directly in front of my doorbell right now. But so I picked a window for them to deliver my food, and it was like from 9:30 to 11:30. So bless you, Amazon, for even offering that, but. I'm so sorry for the workers that have to deliver fucking 3 boxes of cereal to my house between 9:30 and 11.
At night?
At night, right? That
Amazon doesn't sleep, dude.
They're
waiting for the robots to take over. Then you're gonna get knocks. Your thing's gonna go off at 4 a.m. Hello.
So you would think, one would think, I shouldn't have to put special instructions for something that late at night to not ring the goddamn doorbell. So mind you, my bedtime is 8:30, maybe 8:45. Whenever I can get that goddamn kid down to sleep. So I lay down, I'm sleeping. Stacy's on her laptop going doing her fucking thing, and I'm passed out. And all of a sudden, she's
when you say what is
like
that?
on her laptop, just doing all this like work for her, whatever.
Work, okay. I thought it made it sound like she's playing The Sims or something.
Oh no. She's like legitimately doing work. So good on her. And she was like shaking my shoulders, like somebody's at the doorbell. So I started the door. I was like, what? It's like, someone just rang the doorbell. Like, you need to go get it. I was like, what? Who? There's nobody at our door. So I pulled my phone up and I was like, check the video, right? I can see who's there. And it's the fucking Amazon delivery guy ringing our doorbell.
He wanted to hand deliver it?
At 10:20.
He didn't just leave it?
Just leave it and go, man. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Even during the day, they usually leave and then knock.
Yeah, exactly, right? And Amazon, they leave, right? Like, because they got places to be.
He wanted to see
this dude was like, he's a lonely motherfucker. He's like, I've got.
Hello, sir.
Like, I would like to present to you these 3 boxes of cereal. Oh, he wanted to be my buddy, and we can have a fight in a giant.
He leaves you 100 voicemails. Like, hey, Chris.
Like, just check it about the cereal. See if you liked it. Did it turn out okay? Kind of like it. I shouldn't have to leave special instructions to not ring my goddamn doorbell at 10:20 in the evening, but evidently you do for late night deliveries. I will say, have you ever had them deliver the thing? It's like a delivery window between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.
I've never gotten that.
They're fucking crazy, dude. It's like same day delivery by 4 a.m. Like, are you?
When did you order?
I ordered that day at it was actually the little fitness tracker thing here. I ordered it that afternoon at 2 p.m. or something, and it's available for prime delivery between 2 and 4 a.m. I'm like, all right. I mean, okay.
Was the guy wearing a mask at 10 at night when he dropped it off?
You know what he didn't do? Ring the fucking doorbell. He just left it there and took off. Okay. So, but anyways, technology.
I mean, soon there'll just be drones, just like.
They have
everyone is going to have, instead of a mailbox, they're going to have a drone landing platform on their roof.
Yeah, so these porch pirates will stop that bullshit.
And then.
So they'll have to climb onto my roof to get something, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like a chimney, right?
Yeah.
Chimneys in Florida. Yeah, exactly. It'll be an Amazon drop box. Well, have you seen the Amazon thing? They have Ring is owned by Amazon.
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or Google or Disney, right?
Yeah.
But they have. They're Ring doorbell cameras like I have, and then spotlights, which I'm gonna install soon because reasons. I'm just becoming a cranky old man. Let's get real. But they have now a Ring drone camera in your house that you can you set it up in the center of your house, and if it just flies around. And will dock itself.
It just patrols.
So it's like
God.
the hunter killers from fucking Cyberdyne.
So we already have light pollution. Now we're gonna have light and sound pollution because there's gonna be this bing around your house.
Basically, and I mean when you're gone, I'd assume why would I have that? I'm not getting one yet. Maybe
even to your neighbors. If I was your neighbor, I'd be annoyed that this thing's
inside
buzzing.
your house, dude.
Wait, what?
Inside your house.
Well, then what's its job?
To patrol your house.
Oh my!
Why
God.
get multiple cameras when you only need one that's gonna fly around for you?
So you have a drone flying around your house. How big is this thing? Small.
I think it's probably
like the size of a GoPro.
Maybe
or something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
dude! Can you imagine having one outside? People would be. I'd be shooting at one with a BB gun.
There we go. Well, you'd be lucky if they're shooting at it with a BB gun.
Yeah, exactly. Or a paintball gun, or we are in Florida, so I mean, probably a 30-06 or something. But the so there's like Ring drone cameras for inside your home. It's not too far off if Cyberdyne just goes bananas, and like that's the beginning of it.
I'm sorry, Chris. You can't come inside anymore.
What's the one from
2001: Space Odyssey?
I was thinking of the Red Queen.
The Red Queen.
Isn't that a Resident Evil the movies?
I haven't seen any of those. With Mila.
Are you serious?
With
Mia Jovovich.
Mia. The one that was her big break was The Fifth Element. Underrated sci-fi movie.
Never seen it.
Luke Benson or Luke Besson?
Never seen it.
Oh, dude, it's a classic.
Yeah, I know. Everybody talks about it. It's like these like the Boondock Saints. I've never seen that. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Wow. I didn't really live my true college years because I didn't watch the Boondock Saints.
Yeah, but the actor in that, who was also young Indiana Jones,
he was young Indiana Jones.
Not in the movie, in the TV series.
Oh, is it like River Phoenix? I just bought the movie.
You did buy the movie.
I did. And I can tell you within the first 5 minutes, it's
jiu-jitsu.
Oh, dude. It's every goddamn conversation that I have to have with a layman when they ask me about my ears, when they ask me about a poster that's on my wall for jiu-jitsu, and I have to explain to them it's like wrestling. It's so the dude's a black belt, Sean Patrick Flannery.
Yeah, he's a black belt.
He's a black belt under Henzo.
And he's got a school.
Oh, he's got a school?
Yeah.
I need to do my stalking better.
Yeah.
But it's
and he fights Edson Barboza.
Which is crazy because the dude, he's like 50 years old, isn't he?
Hey man.
Jiu-jitsu it is. I heard Helio was collar choking punks when he was like 85.
Helio knew heel hooks back in the day. There are photos of him heel hooking people.
Straight ankle locks.
Okay. Anyway, so describe the movie because I saw this trailer too.
I started to watch it and then dinner came.
It looks like a B movie.
It definitely it's
got the production quality of a B movie.
I would say it's.
What's the name of the movie?
It's called Born a Champion.
Born a Champion.
And it's it.
So you say it starts out like every. So what does that mean?
It's an infomercial for.
Oh, jiu-jitsu? Like it explains to the layman.
There's like weird like documentary footage of like somebody interviewing about I don't even know what his name is. We'll call him Sean Patrick Flannery. It's his actual name.
The protagonist.
The hero, right? The champion, you might say.
Mm-hmm.
They're interviewing a buddy and like, oh, you should have seen the way this guy wiped out 5 guys. Didn't throw one single punch.
Oh, the myth.
Yeah. The myth. And they got it all on camera. Y'all want to talk about, everybody talks about, so you can talk about, you can tell whoever wrote the story or the story, the screenplay, they're super jiu-jitsu nerds.
Are you sure? Maybe it's Sean Patrick Flannery wrote the.
I'm betting it is, but he at one point the guy interviewing is like, everybody talks about the holy grail of fight footage being the Rickson Gracie Yoji Anjo video. I was like, oh my god! He's like, no, it's this guy versus whoever. And I was like, this is a fucking.
You thought Rickson by armbar was impressive.
Yeah, this is every jiu-jitsu nerd's like wet dream.
So
that's gonna end up
does
being.
The guy look legit?
I only got 10 minutes.
Because I have never seen this Sean Patrick Flannery Flattery.
He's a Henzo Gracie black belt. He's got to be.
I see he runs a school, but I've never seen him actually roll.
Oh, right.
So I want to just see, is this guy legit?
I mean, I would say.
Is he better than Ashton Kutcher?
I mean, I think he's actually sparred. Right? Like, he doesn't use this mystical, no sparring jiu-jitsu that's meant especially for...
poor Ashton. Well, Ashton Kutcher, first of all, is not poor, so we can't say that. But he's definitely not a brown belt.
I mean, he was also against Craig Jones, right? Like, you and I would probably look the same against Craig Jones as he did.
No, I would not go for an armbar the way he went for an armbar.
I don't remember the context of that, but I remember being...
Put him in Masters Worlds and just see him.
Masters Worlds brown belts? Oh, he would get wiped. He could be entered as a blue belt. Maybe. And he would get murdered.
Yeah.
Just straight murked.
Yeah.
Not Sean Patrick Flannery, not him. Yeah. Like, I think he's like a 3rd degree black belt or something too.
Oh yeah, no, he's got stripes on his black belt, but I just want to see him rolling. I just want to see.
I'm sure he's also like 50 something years old too, so he's probably just got that grizzled old like Chris Howder type game.
Well, let's see him and Chris Howder go again.
Ooh, and Kurt Osiander.
I think Kurt
he's still more active.
Yeah, I think Kurt's younger, so I'll give him the edge.
Yeah, because I think Kurt's like late 40s or something, and like Howder.
I mean, Howder's
a dirty dozen.
Osiander is going to look that way for his entire life.
Yeah, he was born looking like that. He's like the Benjamin Button of.
Yeah. He's just going to look like. Whereas the other guys are going to age kind of normally.
Yeah, because I mean, Kurt Osiander is just. I mean, speaking of calloused, like he's just like a human callus. Right, like
I know. Like I feel like I could accidentally kick him in the face and be like, "Oh, no big deal." Happened to me a bunch of times. Like, no big deal.
You could break your thumb.
I know.
Probably thrown on his head. But I didn't get through that much of the movie. I bought it and then like I was watching it.
How much did you spend on this?
So I do like the.
You want to support the content creators?
That's what I want to do, man. Like,
so what platform did you buy it through?
Google Play. But I have a bunch of like credits that I get from Google Play, like surveys, which is basically the same as like. Was it Amazon the Turk thing? Where you just do like little surveys and so they give you just random like, Google Play credit. I use it for my video games and for movies. Okay. So I bought it through that and it was like $10 or something. I mean, that's fine.
Hey man, it's probably better than that movie Jiu-Jitsu called with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
That has no jiu-jitsu in it.
I will say thus far I like it better than. Okay, so let's talk about jiu-jitsu movies. Which movies?
What are they?
So it's MMA movies
John
slash
Wick one.
No. Where the focus of it is the actual martial art, not.
Aren't there two that like one's Warrior?
Okay, Warrior's good. Like let's take that.
That's with Tom Hardy, right?
That's with.
Then
Bane.
What's the one with?
There was Red Belch, which was the garbage, and then there was Never Back Down.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
That's the one.
That's with what's his face, the guy from.
That's what's his face? It's got Jaimin Hansu in it.
No, doesn't Never Back Down have the guy from 21 Jump Street?
21 Jump Street?
You know who that guy, the...
Channing Tatum?
Yeah, isn't Channing...
No, that's fighting, actually.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
That's the one that got like Kung Lee in it and stuff. That movie's also terrible. That's basically Lionheart. It's basically like a remake of like the 90s movie Lionheart starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, where it's like this underground fighting and...
It's always underground fighting in a parking lot with the rich people watching.
Yeah, like with the car surrounding with the lights pointing in so they can have
That's always the case. Dude, I mean, in Daredevil, I think, not in Daredevil, in Iron Fist, the girl, she like would do street fights in a cage surrounded, where people had lights shining.
Electros? No. It was
Iron Fist girlfriend.
Oh yeah, the Asian girl.
Yeah, whatever her name is.
I think she's White Tiger.
Yeah, I mean, she turned into something. Yeah. Like she was starting to glow at the end.
Yeah. That's right.
I'm not sad that show went away.
That was terrible. It could have been done so much better. Like
compared to the other ones,
if they had gone all in on Enter the Dragon. Right, like making it a modern day sort of Enter the Dragon and like really reclaiming legacies.
The guy was such a puss, man.
Oh my god, he's a terrible actor and a terrible martial artist. I'm out.
He had his frosted tips. He had his perm in. I was just like
if they had at least do one or the other, either get a really good martial artist,
that's an okay actor.
Yeah, or get a really good actor and just get a fucking body double in.
Yeah, but
don't try to have the guy do both. Right, because we can tell. Right, we can tell when somebody's not a martial artist.
I'm channeling my chi.
It was so bad, and that was the weakest of the MCU Netflix shows,
which are not canon still because Kevin Feige doesn't like them.
Really, but I've heard Charlie Cox is going to be in.
Really?
He wrapped up filming in the third Spider-Man movie.
Yes. Oh, I know. Okay, that's good. So they brought him in. This is good.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, they also have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, so there may be some crazy Spider-Verse stuff going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
Or are they throwing us for a big, like, crazy WandaVision, don't know what's going on sort of?
Well, so, okay, let's go on an MCU little tangent here. So I've heard that one of the theories with WandaVision, and this is not a spoiler, this is theories, okay?
Hypotheses.
Because Wanda is a powerful...
Yeah, I think she's doing House of M.
Okay, and if that's the case...
It's
going to be the opposite of the conclusion of House of M. There was a point in House
where
of M
she doesn't say
where she said no more mutants, and there were no more mutants.
That's the beginning of House of M. That's actually the Avengers. Is that Avengers? No. That's the beginning of House of M.
But this is how they're going to introduce mutants. Is she's going to say mutants?
Mutants. But so that's interesting
let
because
there be different people or whatever. I don't know what that.
It's not
meta. Whatever, you know.
So, all right. There's a lot of like weird nerddom that's about to be unleashed by. First of all, by a comic book black belt Chris Vu.
Can we just before getting into that too much, because you just referenced House of M. Most people don't even know what that is. I only know about that because I've recently been looking into theories.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. So my question is, what do you think about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, its new iteration being driven a lot by episodic television on Disney Plus instead of 2 to 3 blockbuster movies a year?
Bro, I mean, like, so first off, I think a big part of it has to do with how we consume media nowadays.
Okay.
Right? Like, first off, like serialized fiction in general is just, that's how you keep people coming back. Right? Like, it's a lot easier to probably produce, and film or whatever and distribute a season of stuff and have, I mean, it's just like subscription-based anything, right? It's easier just to bing people in the head for $4.99 a month and try to get them for whatever for a year. So rather than investing all of these resources into these, what do they call them, like tentpole movies, which will still exist, but that's a lot of eggs in one basket. Isn't it easier to produce a whole bunch of stuff that's going to keep people paying and keep people watching?
I don't disagree that from a business point of view, it can make sense because everyone loves monthly recurring revenue.
Yeah.
And you can bet your ass that Disney Plus is not going to be $5
WandaVision's 30 minutes, right?
But Disney Plus is not going to be $5 a month.
Oh, it's definitely not. I mean, I think it's already...
it's going to go up.
Yeah, of course.
Once they get people hooked, once everyone's
they
gotten a
get
taste,
that first sample, yeah.
Then it's going to go up. But in terms of an experience for a fan, what do you think? Because I kind of like waiting longer and getting
a huge
2-hour
payoff.
movie.
But what if there's all the stuff that they contribute to that movie that you can consume every single week?
But WandaVision is at best 20 to 30 minutes. You know what's crazy about WandaVision? They do movie-style opening credits and closing credits.
Yeah.
And it's still like a 30, 35-minute runtime, which means you're only getting like
22 minutes. Yeah, which is
and then everything else is credits. The end credits are as long as the movie credits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're really shorter. Long, too.
But, I mean, they go on, like, the effects department, you know.
Oh, yeah. And even the same style.
Georgia, the same, you know, the Georgia unit, third unit here. I mean, it's every time. Which, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Well, what happened? Number one, the opening scene, like the opening credits.
It's a recap, too, of all things.
Well, they do a little recap, but they do the Marvel Studios thing opening, the Marvel Studios
which is easily
logo,
30 seconds,
which gets you jacked up. But I feel like that should almost be saved for the movie, because I felt like, oh, something big is coming.
But this is,
and then hang on, let me say this last thing. And then the credits came, and I fast forward to see, is there a post credit scene? And there's no post credit scene.
There's not.
So they've conditioned me to. I think I'm highlighting the fact that they've conditioned me to a certain experience when there's the Marvel Studios opening and the movie style credits. And the fact that it's a TV show is irrelevant. What matters is it wasn't as long and as blockbuster of a moment after the Marvel Studios logo, and there wasn't a post-credit scene after a long, lengthy credit thing.
Yeah.
So now that's violated the anticipation for that. that's secondary to me. The big thing is, are we comfortable with consuming? I mean, what do you feel like? I feel like
I think it's perfect. Okay, so I will use an example of like.
Are we turning our podcast into an MC? Like, should this be like
no? It's a jiu-jitsu podcast, and we're also.
I mean,
just
WandaVision
dudes,
is
right?
going on right now.
Yeah, but it's also like they're these my guys at work, right? They're playing video games, which I don't do.
What video game is? They're playing Call of Duty.
No, they're not.
Path of Exile.
2 of the guys are super into DayZ.
Okay.
And the other guy likes the idea of DayZ, thinks it's fun, but doesn't want to deal with the grind. So he's all about Fortnite. And I think
how old is this guy who's playing Fortnite?
He's like 35.
Wow.
But that's the thing, right?
Players are like,
so like, and that's why I have a hard time getting into video games, because the kind of games that interest me require you to sit. It's a time investment, right? Like, it's at least an hour of sitting and grinding and doing your thing where you may not even accomplish anything. And that's like a Netflix show where it's like fucking an hour long and nothing's happening. But Fortnite, or in this case WandaVision, is a 22-minute snippet where you can just turn on, knock it out real quick, right? And then there's no grinding. You just get right into it and it's done. There's something to that.
Yeah.
And it's contributing, right? Because
I think WandaVision is doing a good job of embracing its format.
Yeah.
And taking advantage of the fact that it's
super meta, right?
Yeah, like, because it's episodic television, and it's the first few episodes that are available right now play out like a sitcom, you know, and it plays into the story. So in terms of like I think about I haven't read nearly as many comic books as you have, but I watched the hell out of Batman the Animated Series and the Diniverse and that kind of stuff. And
all the DC animated movies are amazing.
Oh yeah,
they're all very good.
And this has to me the tropes of a comic book story where, you know, it's, yes, I could tell you, like, there are always going to be comic book stories or animated stories where the perspective is markedly different from a traditional storytelling perspective.
Yeah.
The fact that we're doing episodic TV shows and trying to, like, there's a mystery there as to why are we doing this? Why are we, the viewer, being shown sitcoms?
But
you know, and telling a story that, by the way, unfolds episode by episode.
But how often does it happen? Well, actually, you don't know because you don't read a lot of trades. But like, how often does it happen when I'm a trade waiter, right? So there'll be like, trades are collected volumes of like usually 6 to 8.
I always call them graphic novels. I don't know why you call them trade.
Because they're trades. Let's not give them too much credit. They're fucking comic books, right? So they're.
But what does the trade mean?
It's a trade paperback.
But
of collected stuff.
But what does the word trade have to do with anything? Why isn't just like?
Well, it's called an individual comic collected into a trade paperback.
What is a trade? How is a trade paperback different from a paperback?
I don't know. It's just
why do they use the word trade?
I don't know. I actually have no clue.
Okay, that was my question.
But I'm a trade waiter, regardless. Okay. Jargon.
Is that because people would trade books instead of?
I don't know. I mean, because I remember the first time I walked on at Borders, and I was looking for graphic novels, right? And I walked in and I asked the lady, and she was so obnoxious. I was like, where can I find the trade paperbacks? And she's like, these are all trade paperbacks. Like, literally, like moving her arm across the entire inventory of books that are on display.
That's like me saying hey to my mom, and my mom saying hey is for horses, son.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh,
you
pardon me.
You get what I.
Yeah, I was like, where are the graphic novels, ma'am? And then she's like, oh, well, there's that section there. So I'm like, but I get real like weird about like the way people talk about graphic novels. I'm like, we're giving ourselves, but it's also like we're trying to give ourselves too much credit, right? Like, it's a fucking comic book.
What's wrong with a comic book?
I mean, it's there's nothing wrong. It's reading with pictures, which is awesome. And
is a comic book low art, not high art?
I would say the perceived value of them is that it's comics are for kids.
There's a really good Calvin and Hobbes strip that makes fun of this whole thing.
Really?
Whereas like comic book, low art, commercial, you know, low art. Painting of a comic book, meta,
like Andy Warhol stuff.
Meta, Jean, whatever, thought provoking, high art,
Yeah.
And then they kept inventing scenarios like, what about a comic book of an artist drawing up?
Because, I mean, like working in the funnies and whatnot, were always viewed as sort of like where you go to get your chops before you go work for like an ad agency.
Okay.
Which is why actually Stan Lee and like all of these guys, they use that trade name as like a pseudonym because they didn't want their name to be associated when they made it big with, you're that comic book artist, you're a comic book writer. So that's why a lot of these guys operated under a pseudonym. But so, I mean, like maybe I'm this sort of like self-loathing comic book lover, but I hate it when people try to take it too seriously and call it a graphic novel.
So, okay, so back to your are you comfortable? Are you excited? Like, what's your reaction to seeing that at least half, if not more, of the MCU's content is going to be serialized?
I think it's awesome, just because, like, just going back to the whole trade waiting thing, there's nothing more. You used like anticipation of waiting for the big like summer movie, but like it's also, you tend to forget a lot in between. You tend to, and sometimes honestly, like if the time passes and the likelihood of you losing the anticipation, losing the desire to see that may pass, right? But if they can keep you coming back week by week, whatever it is, the hunger's almost always there, where where the customer or the consumer wants to turn the page immediately, right? If you leave it on a good enough cliffhanger. I think I've grown up reading comic books, so I think that's why honestly I kind of miss The Ultimate Fighter, like, because that show's not on anymore, right? Like there was something to a little bit of build up, and like next week on The Ultimate Fighter, we're like, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna fight? And they tried all the different formats of like mystery fighters and, the team picking the fighters. Like, I wanted to see who's going to fight next week. And there was something to that. And I think there's that little bit of like just mystery that's really, really fun to deal with in serialized fiction or just serialized storytelling that can't exactly be conveyed with just giant blockbuster movies.
I just feel like what's happening is, I get what you're saying.
Do you think we're getting a cheaper experience? Is that your...
Not a cheaper experience, but a cheaper in a way, because we're not going to have as many Iron Man appearances. We're going to go to smaller characters with less known actors, which is fine. I have nothing against the actors and actresses portraying these characters.
Yeah.
But they're smaller characters within the MCU. And only for movies are we going to have the appearance of a Thor. Thor's going to have a movie.
Right.
Spider-Man's going to have a movie. But a majority of the content, if you look at ours, is going to be allocated to smaller, like She-Hulk. Great idea. I mean, She-Hulk's a massive character in the context of things. But we're doing all this, and I don't know how much those characters can further a main plot, which is what I'm hoping will happen in this new phase over the next decade. Is we're going to have the rise of Doctor Doom. We're going to have the rise of Galactus or...
Oh God, is that where they're going?
I don't know. I mean...
I
don't know where they're going with it. People are thinking Wanda might be a way to jumpstart Fantastic Four. And they've mentioned they've mentioned Fantastic Four as being in development, whereas they haven't with X-Men and mutants. So that's why it might be more likely that they would actually introduce the Fantastic Four somehow. That's because there's an episode that talks about deep space missions and things.
Oh,
you haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
So
in WandaVision?
Yes, you haven't gotten there.
I'm 2.5 in.
Yeah, you haven't gotten there. When you get there, it's not like a main part. It's just...
in passing.
It's just dropped.
But are you just reading too much into it then at that point? Like,
well, this is what happens when you read comments afterwards and everyone freaks out. I don't even notice. I don't notice it, but people come up with these ideas. We crowdsource the.
Oh my God! The amount of speculation that was involved with so many things.
But my point is,
we're totally unfounded.
If we're losing out on seeing more of Spider-Man and more of Iron Man and Captain America, and I know that a lot of these actors have retired, or at least.
And plus, like, do we just need, like?
To me,
can't we get away from fucking Batman for a little bit? Can't we get away from like Thor and Iron Man? Like, there's nothing, like let's.
We can't.
Why?
Because there
are other stories to be told.
I mean, but they're the protagonists that people care about.
I can see this fucking pearls drop so many times, man. Like I've been reading this shit.
That's retelling the same story, but
that's the thing is like when you're always trying to retell it for another generation, you have to reiterate that stuff because that's what makes. If I'm telling a story
in Metropolis that doesn't involve Superman, why does it even have to be in Metropolis? I'm just telling a story that happens to be in a universe inhabited by Superman, and unless Superman plays some sort of role in the plot, then why are we telling a quote superhero story? So the myths, we talk about this being modern mythology. How many of the Greek myths didn't involve Hercules or Heracles? Zeus.
But here's the problem with a lot of weird storytelling that's done oddly nowadays. It's sort of like, remember the whole what was it, the Megan Fox like Ninja Turtles movies? Like, we don't need everything to connect in some sort of way, right? Like, and I've only heard reviews of it. I've not watched it myself, but from my understanding, the show Alfred, or Pennyworth, rather, it gets involved with how Alfred ends up meeting Thomas and Martha Wayne to eventually becoming their butler and all the little shenanigans that they were involved in before becoming like the Thomas and Martha Wayne, later parents of Bruce. And from my understanding, one thing they don't fall into, which is good storytelling, is all these little weird hints of like things are connected, that it's destined to be Bat involved in this and that and the other, right? Like, just because they exist in that universe doesn't mean they have to be connected to Superman in some way. What's wrong with just good storytelling and it not having to be connected, right? Like, it's sort of like the Han Solo movie thing where like it just ended up being a fucking origin story for dice and hats and jackets and stuff. Like, we don't need that.
Here's the thing. Star Wars is a universe that is interesting in and of itself. So telling stories within the Star Wars universe, to me, is more compelling and markedly different from telling a Metropolis story.
Okay.
Because Metropolis is just like a New York City.
Yeah.
Unless, granted...
What makes Metropolis unique? The fact that Superman's there? I mean, sure.
We're playing with the idea of being in a world where the idea of mutants is common. Now that mutants will be coming into the MCU at some point. We'll use the word mutant.
They own it. I mean...
Right, so... Then I can see that, like, yeah, you could do a story where I don't know any of the characters, but there's some differences between our world and the world that the story takes place in that are relevant to the plot. Like, what's it like to be a mutant and discover your powers in puberty and not know it? And you could tell a story like that. Like, is this happening because of weirdness, or is it actually happening because I have a, like, what if... I'm just throwing something out here. What if it's kind of like a suspense horror type series about a kid growing up and dealing with people that have all these mysterious illnesses, and it turns out that he's the one causing them because he's a mutant and he gives off some more, and then Professor X maybe makes a cameo at the end and talks to him about that.
I mean, he doesn't
have to show up. But my point is, that's an interesting story.
Yeah, and that's well done.
You invented a character. You can pay me my royalties later for Marvel.
Yeah, you don't need to have like the Beast just fucking swing in, or
when we're tuning into the MCU, I mean, how many times we make fun of Hawkeye? We don't want to see Hawkeye. We want to see Iron Man. You know what I mean?
But if they just wrote Hawkeye to be a more like, I thought Hawkeye Endgame, awesome. Way better.
Is he gonna move the needle though?
But like, how compelling was the story? I was like, I mean, maybe it's because like I'm a dad. Like, I was like, I saw that and I was like, oh, like, first off, he was shown more in Endgame, and second off, like, I gotta get going soon. But like, they added more to his character where it made him matter. Actually, it was in Infinity War, right, where they went to his house. No, that's Civil War.
Civil War.
Where they went to his house and they.
No. I don't think it was Civil War.
Was it Winter Soldier?
It was Age of Ultron.
Where they went to his house to hide out?
I believe so.
Where like Chris Evans like tore apart the log.
Or maybe it was Civil War.
I think it was Civil War. Because they're talking about, like, I want to put a suit of iron, or I want to put an iron. We'll look it up.
No, but Iron Man was with him. No, it wasn't Civil War. It was Ultron, I think.
We'll have to check.
Because I think they going to arrest them. Didn't Thunderbolt?
We'll figure it out. But either way, like that's when he became somewhat interesting. He wasn't interesting in Avengers 1, where he was just like a dude and they're like, hey, he's in his hawk's nest again. Yeah, he shoots really well. You know, he became a better character when actually it was Wanda was like, I can't do this. You know, and he was like, I am a dude with a bow and arrow and there are robots firing rockets at me. So just suck it up and get in there, right? Like, that's when he became a little bit more of an interesting character. I'm a big believer. I mean, like, so they took and they made a movie.
It was Age of Ultron.
It was Age of Ultron, where they went to go hide out in his house.
Safe house.
But they took Guardians of the Galaxy, who were the most obscure, not even
That's what I think they're trying to do.
level.
That's what they're trying to do. Because I care about those guys.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to do that with the Eternals. I think the Eternals is going to be...
Yeah, they're going to be the new... I think they're trying to make the Eternals the segue into like Guardians of the Galaxy was like cosmic with a little c. Like Eternals is gonna be a cosmic with like a big C. You know,
dude, I really think the money's in the X-Men because
everybody wants to see Wolverine pop his claws.
Well, yeah, but I think also it's so relatable. And
you talking about like the fucking like how they're discriminated against?
Yeah,
everybody feels.
But because it's more street level. I
think
people want that street level. I think when you go Cosmos, it makes the movies look not as good. Because
Guardians 2 was. It can be cool. It can look cool,
but it gets too CG.
Yeah,
like kind of like I want something a little more grounded. You know.
Right. Yeah,
so
that's why I mean like at the end of the day, Guardians was just basically a little kind of goofy caper movie, you know, kind of caper movie that just happened to take place in a couple like dirty, like not sterile looking spaceships.
Well, I hope that they can get those guys like Charlie Cox from Daredevil into Spider-Man like that.
Well, they would do. They will.
And if they get the guy who played Kingpin, who everybody thinks is Kingpin,
he's the best Kingpin.
And I hope they put him. I hope they put those guys in there as part of the universe and not part of this multiverse. Like, I want to swipe through.
That's the problem.
This wormhole.
We already have Garfield and Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3.
Into the Spider-Verse, to me, is the best movie for that.
To
do it again.
Just leave it alone. You know?
To do it again.
But this is where, I mean, they're getting in the multiverse stuff because Doctor Strange is like in the mouth of madness, or in the multiverse of madness.
Okay, so that's the other thought, is that repercussions from Wanda are going to lead into
the Doctor Strange. Yeah, because these...
And Wanda potentially... Well, I'm not gonna.
All right, I gotta get going.
All right,
but let's wrap up.
Yeah, because I was gonna give a spoiler. I don't want to.
Don't do
Guys, check out our sponsor, Crown Rash Guards.
Crown CROWNRASH.
And use our promo code Brews. How do we spell it, Chris?
BREWS.
And that's www.crownrashguards.com.
Get 20% off a single rash guard.
Check out our review if you haven't seen it already on our Instagram.
Check out our unboxing.
Unboxing, rather, yeah.
We're not
at
reviewing
BJJ and Brews. You can also hit us up on email, bjjandbrews@gmail.com.
Like, subscribe, share, leave comments.
We always read every comment.
And we definitely interact.
Yeah, sometimes you get way more than you ask for.
Hey, he asked for it.
He was Chris. I was Noah. We'll catch you next week, same time, same place. See ya.
All right, see ya.